Hi, I'm Louis DeCipio. I'll be teaching Political Science 21, Introduction to American Government this summer in summer session 1. I wanted to take the opportunity to introduce myself, introduce the course, and then give you a sense of what you'll be doing over the 5.5 weeks that we're meeting. Summer session courses go very quickly, so everything I say today should be understood as something that you have to make a real priority in your lives. And I realize that summers are busy times for you, but 5.5 weeks isn't too long. So please think about how you can accomplish what I'm going to talk about today in a relatively short time. As I mentioned, my name is Louis DeCipio. I'm a professor in the departments of political science and Chicano Latino studies at UCI. I've been teaching here for about 12 years now, and overall teaching for almost 25 years. My interests are in race and ethnic politics. I study how minority communities organize to make demands on political institutions and how political institutions respond to that demand making. Increasingly, I'm looking at immigration policy with an eye to how immigrants can make the transition to not just to U.S. citizens, but also to fully participating U.S. citizens. I think these interests will inform the course, but I think what you're going to be exposed to over the 5.5 weeks of the course is a pretty traditional American government class. The first third will look at the design of the American political system, the Constitution, the amendments to the Constitution, the rules of the game, if you will. The second third of the course looks at how people influence that game, how they vote, how they organize in their communities, how they use the media to shape political outcomes. And then the final third of the class looks at political institutions, looks at Congress, looks at the President, looks at the Supreme Court to determine how public policy is made. And then we'll look at a couple of specific policy issues in the final week of the class. As I say, this is a pretty traditional American government class. If you took it on ground, pretty much anywhere in the country, you'd get the same set of options. I think what makes this course unique, though, of course, is the online delivery. You'll have the opportunity to hear from me several times each week in some lectures. You'll have the opportunity to look at a textbook that will cover some basics of American government, and you'll have the opportunity to look at some videos that address specific topics. Let me talk a little bit about the structure of the class. You'll have 3 ways in which I'll evaluate your performance. The most substantive of these are 3 analytical essays. By an analytical essay, I mean something that you can write based on the readings in the course, my lectures, and the videos in the course. You don't have to do any sort of outside research. And these 3 analytical essays will cover those 3 parts of the course: the design of the American system, mass participation in American politics, and political institutions. Each of those analytical essays, which are spaced pretty evenly across the course, are worth 25% of your final grade. I hope that you'll put a lot of effort into those. We take them very seriously. They'll be 4 to 6 pages each, and you'll submit these online. The second way in which I'll evaluate your performance is weekly forums. These will respond to questions that I've raised. You can look at these questions online, and you'll be able to answer them again based on the readings and my lectures. I'll want you to make at least 3 posts to the weekly forum. The first of these is your answer to the question, and then the second 2 are responses either to your fellow students or to comments that I've made or the teaching assistants have made. The forums are worth 15% of your final grade. The final way in which I'll evaluate your performance are weekly quizzes. These quizzes are specifically on the textbook. They're diagnostic in the sense that they'll tell you if you're reading at the appropriate level, and they are also a way to reward the students that are taking the reading a little bit more seriously. The quizzes are worth 10% of your final grade. There's also a small opportunity for extra credit, for about 3 points of extra credit. 3 points may sound like not too much, but it usually gets you up to the next grade level, so from a B to a B plus or a B plus to an A minus. As I say, summer courses move very, very quickly, so it's really important that you hit the ground running, that you have the textbook in hand before the course starts, and that you begin to work on the Monday that the course begins. Each week, I would suggest that you follow pretty much this calendar. That is that on Monday, Tuesday, and maybe Wednesday morning, you do your readings, you take some notes on the readings, you watch the videos that supplement the lectures, and you watch the lectures, again taking some notes. On Wednesday of each week, you take your quiz for the class. You can do this anytime during the day from 6 a.m. to 11 p.m. You have to allow half an hour for the quiz. And you make your first post to the forum. Then on Thursday and Friday, you go back, you read your fellow students' posts to the forums, and you supplement those posts with your own observations about what your fellow students or what I have to say or what the teaching assistants have to say. On top of this sort of standard weekly schedule, reading early in the week, quiz in the middle of the week, forums late in the week, you'll need to be making time to work on your analytical essays, which are due in the second, fourth, and final week of the class. Overall, I've taught this course now 3 times in the summer. I'm very happy with the way it works. I think students have been happy with the outcomes. But what really makes the difference is the energy that you put into it. I'll put all of my energy into it, and I expect the same of you. I look forward to meeting you over the next few weeks. If you have any questions, I'm available here on the UCI campus. You can reach me by email at ldecipio.uci.edu. And I look forward to meeting you, at least meeting you electronically. Bye-bye.